New Magic Keyboard! I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about this product. The first thing you need to know is that I wouldn't get it. I'll get into it. I've done a deep dive between the old version and the new version, and here are all the differences I've noticed. The most obvious difference are these function keys. These function keys aren't terribly special because every other third-party keyboard has something like it. The feel of the keys feel like the keys from the old one. They're very similar to the iPad keyboard. Now the keys are surrounded by a rubber gasket. I'm assuming this gasket's gonna help keeping dust and debris from getting underneath the keys. Hey Monty, you wanna hear a joke? Why did Apple want rubber on the keyboard? To practice safe text. Thickness of the new keyboard in the iPad is about 13.4 millimeters thick. It's about 2 millimeters thinner than the old one. And in addition to being thinner, the hinge, this thing is actually shorter. It's about half an inch longer on the old one. Now with the shortened hinge, it's a lot harder to put things into this hole. With the old keyboard, with it being longer, it was easy to put stuff into this hole. This USB-C port is only used for charging. And unlike the old version, the new keyboard actually charges at full speeds. This charges on average at 22 watts. This is going to be about 35. That's what I've seen with my products anyways. Now, if we go back 4 years ago when I first bought this keyboard, I was really concerned about how this material is going to hold up after 4 years. And as you can see, I've used this almost every single day. It's gone home with me almost every single day. I think it's held up very, very well. And after 4 years, it now houses my iPad Air 13-inch. That's a good thing. I'll elaborate in a bit. Now on the new keyboard, as you can see, all the keys are moved up and allows Apple to put in a bigger trackpad. I know in the presentation, Apple was like, hey, bigger trackpad. I never had an issue with the size of this smaller one. Like when I'm using this trackpad, I don't usually go any wider than this. Like this was perfectly fine. This trackpad is not a mechanical one like the old one, and it provides haptic feedback. All the gestures that you could do with the old one, you could also do with the new one. Now the inside of the case is now aluminum, whereas in the old one, it was still kind of that rubbery fabric stuff. I am kind of curious to know how much protection this rubber is actually going to provide the screen, because yeah, I'm not a big fan of metal rubbing on glass. That's just me. I'm really hoping that this rubber is going to be 99% effective, we'll say. Now, one of the nice things about this updated layout is that your palms are resting on the actual keyboard and not over the edge like you would have on the older one. Like, I always found this really annoying. This is a nice feel. So there are a lot of nice upgrades to this newer Magic Keyboard. Now this keyboard isn't cheap, it's $300, which is probably twice as much as the average third-party keyboard. Now if you're gawking at the high price, I bought this Magic Keyboard 4 years ago and it's seen use with 4 different iPads. 3 new iPad Pros over the last 3 years, and then this iPad Air. That longevity with the product is something that I can't say for a lot of the third-party products I review. Now I've been really positive in the last few minutes, haven't I, Monty? Let's talk about the fatal flaw. Watch this. See that rocking? Every single time you touch it, it rocks. Tap it with the stylus, it rocks. This is what the old one did. I have to press pretty hard in order to get the same reaction. Tapping, nothing. Watch this. That is terrible. The main cause of this grievance is that this hinge doesn't actually sit flush on the table, which is why it rocks. Didn't have that issue with the older one because the hinge sat on the table, so it was very, very sturdy. Are you kidding me? You're telling me I paid top dollar for this premium product and every single time I touch it, the entire setup is going to turn into a seesaw? Like, where were the engineers and designers? Were they just being overly nostalgic about their teeter-totter days of kindergarten? Did the designers forget that the iPad is a touch device and not a laptop? I know, Apple, you're trying to blur the lines between iPad OS and Mac OS, but this is a touch device. This is unacceptable. Seriously, I love the overall update, but what I just showed you is a deal breaker for me, and I don't think you guys should get it either. So that leads us to the awkward part of the video, because if you're not going to get this product, what should you get? Check out my accessories video. I do mention a couple of products, third-party products that are worth getting. You might have to wait a while before they come out with an actual updated iPad version, because a lot thinner, and the magnets are in a different place, so you just can't buy an old one and hope that it works with the new one. Anything else, Monty? First time watching one of my videos? Click the subscribe button. I produce a ton of content. I'm a reviewer, not an influencer, so no one is paying me to do these videos. I get all my support through you guys using my links. Thanks for watching.